One thing about being the quote unquote Pro Tools expert was everybody that had a digital workstation wanted to bring it by for me to see. Because I was just doing just but I mean, I was just doing so much business with DigiDesign. I think I said in another video, whole part of the warehouse when I was working at Planet Medley was dedicated just to me selling stuff, and it was a big part of the warehouse. So when I remember, what was it, Sequoia, that then they had another the multi-track PC version. They brought that over to me. I went through it, and there was a lot of features that weren't in there that I was used to using in Pro Tools. And I showed the guys, and they walked away, said thank you, and that I showed them that. But I remember the one big thing that they actually had me come out to the factory was Ensoniq, and Ensoniq was and I don't know if people remember this. They had a multi-track digital workstation called Paris, and it had I believe it has the audio interface and it had a control surface. I don't remember completely, but I think it only worked on a PC. But they had me go to Ensoniq. My wife had worked there, so I knew my way over there. And it's funny, the owner of the company, when I went to leave one day, I had a flat tire, and he was the last one there, and he helped me change my tire on my car. So really, the people up there are very nice. But they had me sit down and go through the Paris system, and it had a lot of great features in there. It just they never got it off the ground. And one of the things about selling the Pro Tools is it was so second nature to me. So someone could come in and ask me any question or present any problem, and I could come up with a solution right away. But the Ensoniq, we had bought one, and we had it over at Planet Medley, and I tried to go through it and try to figure it out, and it just wasn't second nature to me. It had great features, but you really have to get that in your mind of how to flow through the system. I remember another system that they had brought to me was the Steinberg Nuendo, and I was just floored with the features that you could do with Nuendo. But I always thought they were selling, I think it was $1,200, and I thought, wow, that's really cheap. Not that people should pay a lot more, but if you don't have enough money in there for tech support, that's going to be a problem, because if you just hand software to people and they can't figure it out, and there's no tech support to call, or the dealers have no tech support to call, it creates a big problem. But I was really interested, and they showed me all these features, and there were some features I've never seen before that I was like, oh, this could be very useful. And this is when I was over at Angel Mountain. They brought it up to me, showed it to me. I think the rep, it was Fady Hayek. Now he works for SSL. And I said, yeah, sign me up. I think we could do some business. And then it's funny, because he got in touch with me about a week later. He says, oh, I can't open you up as a dealer. I go, why not? He said, well, Planet Medley, or Medley that you used to work at, they don't want you to be a dealer, so we're not going to make you a dealer. Sorry. And I thought, okay, that's fine by me. I was giving them the opportunity for me to take a product that I could, sell to people, but they didn't want me to sell it. So I go, okay, that's fine. It's the politics of selling these DAWs. So, and that was the other thing I wanted to say about Pro Tools, because someone was asking about the history. At the very beginning, I mean, now we kind of take it for granted, the MIDI with the audio, and it all syncs up and it works perfectly. That wasn't always the case. The Digital Performer had a really hard time getting off the ground, making everything work perfectly. There was another company, Opcode, that made their sequencer, but then they came out with Opcode Studio, and that was having a hard time. So it wasn't the easiest thing in the world to have the audio in sync with the MIDI all in one program. And Pro Tools back then was really doing much of the MIDI stuff. It was mostly the audio stuff. So back in the beginning there, it's everybody kind of stayed in their lanes. The MIDI guys stayed in their MIDI MIDI lanes, and the audio guys like Pro Tools did the audio stuff. But doing both of them, it was kind of a tough thing to do. And Opcode went away. Digital Performer, they eventually got their act together, and now everybody does it. So all the young engineers never realized the growing pains that had to happen with that. And people ask, why is Pro Tools so prevalent? Is they figured everything out. They made everything work before anybody else could do. So you got to give them a little bit of credit for that. I'm not crazy about their subscription program right now, but you got to do what you got to do to stay in business. So there you go. There's my 2 cents about people bringing me things to check out that were competitors to Pro Tools.